Hello again, Mr. Archie Stuff here. Now, as you can probably see on the workbench, I've got a couple of these little portable record players. This isn't normally what I play around with all that much, although to be honest, one of my most successful videos in recent years has been on this very subject. I picked these two up within a day of each other a few weeks ago. Although they are actually different, and there's quite a lot of little differences, they are actually also very similar. So in terms of the actual detail of the various machines, I mean the knobs are different, the actual mechanism is slightly different. You know, the platter mount, this has got a platter mount, this hasn't. This has got rubber things, this hasn't. The hinges are different, or the, sorry, not the hinges, the clip and the hinge for the handle is different. The handle itself is different. All the lettering is different. There are lots and lots of little differences. I think things like the hinges do look to be the same, and the end caps, or the caps on the case, appear to be the same as well. Although these ones are screwed in, and these ones here are actually riveted in, I notice. Whether they came out the same factory or not, I don't know. They certainly were not produced on the same production line at the same time. Having said that, in terms of functionality, they have on-off volume. They both got the on-off volume, and they both have three settings. We've got Bluetooth, line-in and phono on this one. On this one we have turntable, line-in and Bluetooth. So it's the same, but it's the other way round. Now, as you can probably see, this one's branded up Akai, or Akai, which is a fairly well-known brand of audio equipment in the UK, certainly, and probably in lots of other countries. This one has no branding on it at all, and I think this is important to note with these units. They can have all sorts of different things in the lids. It doesn't tell you anything about where they were made. Just because something has Victrola written in it doesn't mean it's a product of the Victor Corporation. Just because something says Crosley doesn't mean it's made in a different factory from, say, this unit or this unit. And it isn't necessarily made any better than one of these other units which has different, or in this case, no branding. This one I'm actually just going to spin around because there is a little bit of branding on the back. This does actually say Sainsbury's Home Turntable Black for indoor use only. So made in China for Sainsbury's Supermarkets Limited. It's got DC 9V in and line out, left and right. And I did see units very similar to this in Sainsbury's, which is a big supermarket brand or chain in the UK, some years ago. So these may well be the same ones actually. This one, we just turn this one around. Interesting enough, somebody has obliterated all the model information, but it does say made in China, and it also says DC 5 volts, interestingly enough, 5 volts at 1 amp, and then battery 1200 milliamps. So this has an internal battery. So that would be potentially a useful little portable unit to take places and test records before you buy them. And I know certainly some YouTubers and record collectors do that. This one may not actually have been used. I think I bought this off a guy who had a batch of them, and this was the last one. He was just trying to get rid of it. If I remember rightly, this one therefore cost me £10. This one, which I bought the next day, cost me £5. So they didn't cost very much at all. I mean, even new, they don't cost a great deal nowadays. But I'm just seeing the plastic round there, and I just think maybe this one has never actually been used. So what I'm going to do now is just sort out some power supplies, because I've got no power supplies for them, and see if I can get them to run. Right, well, I'm going to start with the Sainsbury's unit because it's simpler. There's no battery or anything to worry about. It's just a straight 9 volts in. And on the back it shows that it's 9 volts centre positive. So what I've done is I've set up a bench power supply. I've set it to 9 volts. I've got my multimeter here, so if I just check the connector, I can see that I'm getting just over 9 volts, which will be fine. And that's on centre positive, so that's the right polarity and the right voltage. So all I need to do now is to connect it up. Now you may just be able to see that I've got a RCD up there, so I can do test to check that it's right, and then reset, and that's fine. That's just an extra precaution. I mean, realistically, I don't know anything about this unit, so although it takes DC voltage in, it could still short out the power supply if there's an electrical fault on it, so it's best to take precautions. That fits reasonably well. So we make sure this is turned off. Turn the power on there. Okay, that's actually showing 9.1 volts there, but that's still plenty fine. So we turn this on. Right, we're getting a light there. Getting a light there, which is good. If I move the arm over, yep, turntable starts. That's good. And I've got it set on turntable, so I'm just going to go and find a record and we'll see if it wants to play. Now the first one that came to hand was this this broken 78, so I'll stick that on. Lift the arm there. That should be 78. That's 45. That's 33 1/3. That seems reasonable. I mean, whether these speeds are accurate, I can always check at a later point, but speeds seem okay. Sounds like we've got a live cartridge. Give it a quick burst of this. Right, not getting anything. Wonder why. Right, it's probably the queuing arm. Let's drop the queuing arm. Let's try that now. Okay, well, that record's probably copyrighted, so can't play too much of that one. But certainly that seems to work. Now, obviously, there's a headphone jack. There's a line in, there's line out, there's Bluetooth. So there are a few other features that would need to be tested, but on the face of it, that unit is working fine. So now I'm going to have a look at the other one. Right, well, I've set up the power supply to be 5 volts in this case, so we're just plugging in the back. I've taken all the same precautions around electricity. So this does actually have one other feature, and that is the ability to keep the turntable running even when the tone arm is in either this position or where it's normally cuts out because it's got to the end of the record. So we'll just check that in a moment. But first of all, let's try turning it on. So power on the power supply. Just nudge it up very slightly, so that's showing 4.9 volts. That's on 5 volts. Again, it's probably not going to be too fast. Point of a volt above or below shouldn't be any problem at all. It's when you start feeding it completely the wrong voltage, then very bad things can happen. So don't do that. This actually is on already, so I obviously left it in the... oh no, that's odd. Okay, so we've got no power light, even though I had left it in the on position. And we've got a light there, and I don't know what that light does. So let's see whether... So even with the auto stop off, which is the position it was in originally, it's not doing anything. Okay, now that may be a battery charged light, I don't know, but there's really nothing happening there at all. Let's just try. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know what that noise. Right, it's making noises. Well, there we go. I have never seen a unit do that before, but then I've never played with one of these which had a battery, or for that matter one that had Bluetooth. Well, in the end I decided to put it on charge for a bit longer. I didn't leave it unattended because I was a bit concerned that it might go up in smoke or catch fire or something like that. So I was watching it whilst it was charging, and after a bit I did actually get some life out of it. So there we go. It does actually appear to work. I mean, there are some various other features, obviously, like the Bluetooth and the line in and the line out, which I haven't tested. But I think essentially it does seem to be a working unit. Okay, well, I'm sure these units will appear in other videos. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.